Hello everyone, I'm Dave Webb, convener of the Global Network Against Weapons and Nuclear Power in Space, and I'm also chair of the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament in the UK. I'm speaking from Leeds in the north of England, and I'm sorry about my voice. I seem to have picked up a pretty bad cold. It's not COVID though, so it's one of the consequences of being able to meet some people again, even on a restricted basis, I suppose. I'm also very sorry about the technical failure yesterday. I hope you'll be able to hear this now, though. So, the Global Network is really pleased to be a sponsoring organisation of this amazing conference, and we had hoped we'd be able to meet you in person, but the online system has done its best to ensure that we can meet with new people and mingle with friends, even though we're separated by thousands of miles. I think the conference began with the opposition to CANSAC, the huge Canadian arms fair. And as I'm sure you're aware, we have a similar disgraceful arms fair, often referred to as the world's largest, in London. DICE, the Defence and Security Equipment International Arms Fair, is held every 2 years and is scheduled again for this September. Governments and military personnel will be able to browse through the products ranging from guns to warships produced by over 1,600 arms companies. But it won't happen without a concerted protest and attempts to prevent it from running smoothly, if at all. The resistance is being planned now, and you'll probably hear about that in some of the sessions. The same corporations that make huge amounts of money through these shameful weapons fairs are dedicated to making billions of dollars from government contracts to militarize space and fill it with warfighting machines. They're also involved in plans to strip resources from the moon, from the asteroids, and from the planets to obtain materials that are being used up on Earth, but what they need to make more weapons. Outer space should be a place of wonder. Who hasn't looked up at the starry sky and been struck with its beauty and been curious about all those points of light? What are they? What do they mean? What do they do? And by asking those questions, the human race has learnt so much about how the universe is constructed and how it works. It's a testament to human intelligence and ingenuity that we've accumulated so much knowledge and understanding from observing just those tiny points of light. But at the same time as exploring and learning from space, we're also filling it with weapons, satellites, and space junk. For example, Elon Musk has been given the go-ahead to launch tens of thousands of satellites to give global coverage to his 5G internet system, which will be used by the military, of course. Others too are joining in to compete with the chance to make billions from this lucrative business. Space business is forecasted to be worth over $1 trillion in just a few years' time. The glory of the night sky is set to be ruined for everyone by trails of satellites as they move slowly overhead. Amateur and professional astronomers are arguing strongly against these moves, but they're not as rich and powerful as the billionaire techno giants. Space has also become a vital link in so many parts of our everyday lives. Weather prediction, agriculture, banking, and network services of all kinds are just some of the many activities that have become reliant on satellite communication networks. And of course, the military are dependent on space for surveillance, intelligence gathering, photo reconnaissance, communications, command and control, and missile defense and armed drone systems around the world depend upon space satellites. We're at the point now where if one crucial satellite were to malfunction or be put out of action by impact with space debris or a meteor at a time of high international tension where warships and planes are lining up against each other and states are accusing each other of all kinds of misconduct, rather like now really, an important satellite failure could be seen as an act of war and lead to horrific consequences. The US continues to accuse other states, especially Russia and China, of placing weapons in space and all kinds of transgressions. But if these states are doing anything like this at all, It's because the US has been clearly demonstrating its determination to fight wars in space and from space for many years now. In fact, the US has looked to maintain a dominant position in space since before 1997, when the US Space Command published a document called Vision for 2020, which recognized that, and I quote, "so important are space systems to military operations that it's unrealistic to imagine that they will never become targets." And that was 1997. And this led really to President Ronald Reagan's Star Wars speech in 1983, and eventually to President Donald Trump's creation of a military space force in 2019, accompanied by the statement that he made, and I quote again, "There is going to be a lot of things happening in space because space is the world's newest warfighting domain." The Global Network was founded in 1992 to help organize the resistance to the militarization of space. It was set up by the joint efforts of the Florida Coalition for Peace and Justice, the Citizens for Peace in Space in Colorado Springs, and New York-based journalism professor Carl Grossman. Bruce Gagnon, who's our dedicated coordinator, has worked amazingly hard to gather 187 affiliate organizations together. These consist of groups, some large, some small, and a number of individuals. And we have a board of directors and an advisory board. Together, they're composed of 28 people from 12 countries to help advise and steer us in the right direction. We're opposing huge forces, of course. So many politicians are sold on the militarization of space by the scare tactics of the military and the promises of the aerospace corporations. It's going to be up to us, the people, to keep space for peace. But we're inspired by the successes of people's movements in the past. There have been so many. It was the people of Europe protesting about the cruise and Pershing missiles placed there by the US in the late 70s that led to their removal and the signing of the INF Treaty, which removed a whole range of missiles from Europe. The strength and determination of the Women's Campaign at Dreamham Common in the UK eventually closed the US base there. The people of the Czech Republic refused to accept a powerful US military radar on their land, and there are many more cases of valiant resistance in places such as New Zealand, Japan, and South Korea to the US-led space war machine. The same with arms fairs. The Australian International Defence Equipment Exhibition was shut down for good by protests in 1991, and in 2008, the first arms fair held in Australia for 17 years, the Asia Pacific Defence and Security Exhibition, was cancelled because of concerns about the scale of the planned protests and the costs of security. In the UK, Defence Procurement, Research Technology and Exportability Arms Fair was chased away from Cardiff and then Birmingham in 2019, having been driven from Bristol in 2014. And Glasgow cancelled the Undersea Defence Technology Fair in 2018, with the local council vowing never to host arms fairs in the city again. So it's been shown that we can succeed if we work together, share our knowledge and our passion for peace. And I'm sure that this conference will be inspiring and encourage us all, filling us with new energy. So thank you for what you do and for the better, safer, more friendly world that we can together eventually achieve. Thanks.